So we all have tools that helps us to do our job, and that is the same for those who predicts the forecast. In this episode, our meteorologist Dylan Hutler is helping us to learn more about the Doppler radar.
Welcome back to WeatherWise. I'm your host, meteorologist Dylan Hutler. Today we're going to be talking about something you may use just about every day. Doppler radar, whether it's on your phone or it's what we use here at the television station. It's all kind of the same thing, but what you see on your phone may be a little bit different than what you think you're actually seeing. It's an interesting process, so let me show you an example here. We have this storm off in the distance, and this is our radar. You may have been driving up through Monroe County in Greenwood Springs one time and looked over up in the trees and saw this big white dome, this big golf ball looking thing on a pedestal up in the sky just above the trees. Well, that's radar. That's our Monroe County radar site. It looks just like that. And step one of getting that image that you see on your phone radar is for this radar to send out a signal. It's sending out a pulse of radiation, a pulse of energy as it spins around inside that dome. So these yellow lines here, it's sending out that energy, sending it out into space, and when it hits this storm, all the raindrops and ice pellets in here, that radiation, that beam that it sends out is scattered back to the radar. That's what it picks up on. What those orange lines are representing. So step two is the radar listening for those signals to be sent back. We've got step one, it sends out that pulse of energy. The energy and radiation interacts with all the things, the water droplets and ice crystals in this storm, and then it reflects that energy back. And when it hits the radar, it detects that and is able to plot that on the radar as the different color tables you see in the rain and the heavy rain. You know, you see the reds, you think thunderstorms, stuff like that. So for example, this raindrop, the yellow lines coming in is the radiation the radar sends out, and it's reflected back toward the radar off of the water droplet, and it tracks the shape and location where that object is, and it's able to put a pinpoint on a map of where that is located. That's how we're able to see these storms off in the distance, no matter how far it is away from the radar site. And then you may have also seen us use this product we call velocity with the red and green colors. A lot of times we use it to show storm rotation, which way the winds are kind of blowing. Well, when the radar sends that pulse of energy out and it hits that water droplet, the beam is also able to see which way the object is moving. If it's moving toward the radar, it shows up as green. If it's moving away from the radar, it shows up as red. So the real key takeaway is this isn't some imaginary, like, ultraviolet beam it's sending out. When you see us put on the sweep of the radar spinning around, it's not actually physically doing that. It's sending around, spinning out a bunch of different pulses of energy, kind of like a sprinkler that you would hook up to your water hose. And when the radiation hits these water droplets and ice pellets in a storm or a cloud, it reflects it back to the radar, and the radar is able to pick up on that and plot it on the radar we use here at the station or on the radar you pull up on your phone on the WCBI weather app. It's a neat and interesting process. You see the colors and you're like, oh, it's raining here. Well, actually, that's a measure of returned or reflected radiation to the radar, and it's able to interpret that and tell you how many things there are in that location, and we can use that to interpret how hard it's raining or how light it's raining, where a storm is at, things like that. So it's a really cool, interesting process. Next time you look at the radar and there's a storm coming, think about, oh, the radar's picking up on returned radiation there. Gosh, that sounds so nerdy. Anyway, I hope you found today's WeatherWise interesting. As always, if you have a question or want to suggest a future WeatherWise topic, you can send us an email, weather@wcbi.com, or reach out to us, send us a message on Facebook or Twitter. That's all I have for you. Hope you guys enjoyed. And until next time, y'all take care.
WeatherWise is brought to you by 4 County Electric Power Association.